EU goes mega mad for India at the 2026 World Economic Forum. EU-India 2026 World Economic Forum. Serving as a ramification of the Trump administration's quest to forcibly annex Greenland, which has placed an insurmountable amount of strain on NATO members and allies. It was announced at this year's World Economic Forum by European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen that the European Union is set to pivot and diversify its future by strategically aligning itself with India by negotiating M.A.D. Instead of negotiating the mother of all bombs, she is negotiating the mother of all deals, with Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, a move that she described as fair trade over tariffs, partnership over isolation, sustainability over exploitation. President Ursula von der Leyen announced that she will be visiting India next weekend to complete the deal. The idea of M.E.G.A, or Make Europe Great Again, seems to resonate with many Europeans. During her speech at the World Economic Forum in Davos, she stated, "Nostalgia will not bring back the old order, and playing for time and hoping for things to revert soon will not fix the structural dependencies we have. So, my point is, if this change is permanent, then Europe must change permanently too. It is time to seize this opportunity and build a new independent Europe." M.A.D, the mother of all deals between the EU and India, is projected to focus on 5 key pillars, which are energy, sustainability, economic expansion, trade, and investment. Geopolitical analysts have reached the conclusion that the EU is choosing to focus on these 5 key pillars because they are urgently seeking to address and heal from the self-inflicted gunshot wound of following American sanctions, which led to them stopping the flow of cheap Russian oil and gas into the EU. It has been deemed with the utmost sense of urgency by EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen that the reshaping of commercial trade and logistical supply chains in a now multipolar world is more important to the current and future stability of the European Union than ever before. In addition, the EU has also decided to pivot to India because of India's no-strings-attached approach, in contrast to the Americans' controversial conditional approach when it comes to countries utilizing American assets. EU Commission President Ursula von der Leyen also stated during her speech at the World Economic Forum that Europe wants to do business with the growth centers of today and the economic powerhouses of this century, from Latin America to the Indo-Pacific and far beyond, and that Europe will always choose the world, and the world is ready to choose Europe. For many observers of the geopolitical chessboard, this can be considered a slap in the face towards the Americans, since they have recently not only kidnapped President Nicolas Maduro and his wife from Venezuela, but have announced their plan to annex oil, gas, and critical natural resources from Venezuela, a Latin American country. Our position at VEDA World News. The EU's pivot to India for the purpose of diversification away from the unilateral position of the Americans can be considered yet another domino to fall in the favor of a multipolar world, thus further adding legitimacy to the multipolar world order. In the eyes of the majority of countries that make up the EU, the time for them to stand united on their own is well overdue. The question of whether the idea of M.E.G.A or Make Europe Great Again is here to stay or simply a fad is currently up for debate. Our position is that it will slowly gain more steam in a way to not ruffle the feathers of the Trump administration, but will be a key driver in the future success of the European Union over time.